Hey guys, this is Lisa from NYC Gal Out, and if you are on YouTube, it's NYC Gal Pod. This is part 3 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. There's not much to talk about, so I don't even think we're going to get a 10-minute recap. But the season is a wrap. I don't see Amanda coming back, but hey, I'll be surprised. You know, a lot of times people who didn't necessarily have a good season, we're like, oh yeah, this person isn't coming back. But we get surprised when they do return. You know, for the longest time, people were saying that about Dorit, but every season she comes back. I do think that she'll probably come back next season again, as well as Kyle, as well as Erica. I don't think that Sutton will be returning next season, just for the fact that she did not have much going on this season. And yes, this is an ensemble cast, but she really had like nothing going on. Like, even when I think of the whole season in general, she was giving more friend of vibes than main cast. You know, Amanda, I definitely think Amanda wants to come back. I don't know if she will come back, but Amanda doesn't really know the other ladies. Yes, she bought Kyle Richards' house, her old house, but Kyle doesn't know her like that. And anyone who thinks that her and Kyle are friends, I don't want to insult you, so I'm not even going to say what I'm thinking, but they are not friends. When Amanda was cast, producers were like, Kyle, you're going to be the one to introduce Amanda to the rest of the ladies. That's how they normally do it. But it was different with the other ladies, because the other ladies, they all generally knew each other or knew of each other, meaning that they ran in the same circles. Even if they didn't hang out with each other, they ran in the same circles. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar, you know, when she did her page 6 interview and said that Beverly Hills was like so freaking lackluster. Oh, I'm with you on that, Buffy, okay? But anyway, when Buffy the Vampire Slayer was like, yeah, this is lackluster, and they were like, well, would you ever be a part of Beverly Hills? And she said, well, I do know the ladies. She said, you know, Crystal's kids and my kids, they go to school together. So they all run in that same circle. Amanda, you know, she's kind of an outsider. So I don't know if Amanda would come back. She probably wants to come back, but I don't know that she would come back. I feel like this is Sutton's last season. What do you guys think about that? I really do. We had a season with her when even Garcelle was on, that her storyline was buying a horse. You know what I mean? I'm going to say the MVP of this reunion was Kathy Hilton, because she was answering phone calls. Nobody was telling her nothing. They weren't telling her jack. She was doing whatever she wants. And, you know, Kathy, she did take up for her sister, Kyle. She did, like, try to make Dorit see it from Kyle's perspective. And so it was nice to see that sisterly bond. Dorit, she don't want to hear it from nobody about nothing. She don't want to hear it from Erica. She don't want to hear it from Kyle. Personally felt that Dorit went to this reunion with elbows up. She was ready. When you go into something like that, like a reunion like that, and you're already on the defense, you're not putting your guard down. You're going in there with a mindset, and, you know, sometimes that's good. Because, like, over there in the OC, I felt like Katie, like, oh, okay, Katie, like, you need to come to this reunion swinging. So sometimes you need to have that mindset where I'm going in there and, you know, this is game time, game face on. But Dorit, she genuinely knows these ladies. She's already been on like a few seasons. She's been on, like, at this point, is considered long term. So it's not like she's a newbie. She hasn't already built, you know, a history with these women. So there was no room, I felt, for the needle to move in either direction. But I also felt like the whole entire season was centered around Dorit. And that's probably why the season was so lackluster. You had the whole season centered around Dorit. So, you know, that is why the season was so lackluster. I don't know about Sutton or Amanda. I feel like producers are more likely to bring back Amanda than they are Sutton. It did not need to be 3 parts, and I felt like the 3rd part was already stuff that I talked about in the 2nd part and in the 1st part. We didn't learn anything new. It was the same old, same old. I mean, I don't even think, like, legit fans of the franchise, I don't even think they're really that invested in whether or not Dorit and Kyle are friends or not. I don't even know if people are invested in whether Dorit and Erica are friends or not. I personally would like to explore Erica and her relationship with her new man more, but maybe he doesn't want to film. You know, maybe he's only okay with showing little clips of him on the phone or whatever, but he doesn't want to actually film. That could be it, but I would like to explore more of that. I don't want to see another season of her trying to kickstart her entertainment career, her Erica Jane career, but I would like to see more about, like, her and her boyfriend. But also, Erica has a $25 million lawsuit going on in Florida. So let's talk about that next season. You know, everybody is so into Dorit's finances. Next season, let's talk about that. Kyle and Mo. You know what? I'm more invested in that than whatever the hell was going on with her and Dorit, because they have a very unique relationship. Not a lot of former spouses can be friends like that. They're not getting divorced anytime soon. So I would like to even go that angle instead of whatever nonsense is going on with her and Dorit. Whoever is in charge of the storyline this season, you need to be demoted, because whose bright idea was it to center this around Dorit? Who? There was just so many different angles that we could have explored. I would have liked to seen more of her preparing her daughter's wedding. Obviously, her daughter was okay with that because we see little tidbits of it, and we actually even had the Bravo cameras at the wedding filming it. So clearly her daughter was okay with it. But I guess whoever it was that decided on what the story arc was going to be this season, they went with that mess. With Dorit, I wouldn't mind if just her storyline was about her divorce with PK. Not for everybody else to hijack it, but just her individual storyline. Because I did very much feel like Kyle and Erica was hijacking Dorit's storyline. Like, no, get your own storyline. Erica, you could have went with you and your new man. Kyle, you could have went with, you know, preparing for your daughter's wedding, but instead I felt like they were trying to hijack Tariq's storyline. And again, the season was so lame because it was centered around Tariq and her story. But I wouldn't mind if individually that, you know, we get the whole messy mess that is the divorce of PK and Dorit. Rachel, I do not care about your divorce. I don't think anybody cares about your divorce. I think half of the audience probably thought you were already divorced. But next season, she's going to have to be a little bit more messier. Not toxic, but generally speaking, viewers, they like messy little drama queens. Both her and Keely, I mean, does anybody care? She has a wedding coming up, so, you know, who knows about that relationship. People try to clown Bose because it seems like she's the one that's paying for everything, that she's the one that's making more money, and that she's going to be the breadwinner. But I already did a clip on this, and I said, how is this any different from Amanda Francis, other than the fact that a white woman in a white relationship, when she does it, then it's like, oh, yes, queen, you know, power move. Yes, new generation, new dating rules, whatever, women's movement, rah, rah. But when a Black woman, especially any minority, any person of color, but I feel like especially when it's a Black woman who is the breadwinner, the power player in the relationship, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, she's being taken advantage of. She can't get anybody who's better. The guy that she's with is a scrub. He's using her, whatever. And listen, I've said this already. Keely might very well be a scrub. I don't know what that man does. He might very well be a scrub. But it's the fact that he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. While with Amanda, it's like, oh, yes, queen, you're making your own money. More power to you. Get that coin, get that bag. But with Bose, it's like, oh, she's so desperate, she's got to pay for her own wedding. Oh, who do you think is paying for Amanda's rose petal helicopter wedding that she wants? Not her husband, who she loves to tell the whole entire universe that he, you know, doesn't make as much money as her. She makes more in 1 month than he makes in a whole year. She paid for the house. She did this, she did that. So that's all good and okay, and that's power to you. But, you know, I see comments where it's like, oh yeah, you know, she's basically paying for her own marriage and her own relationship. Well, how is that any different other than the fact that this is a Black woman who's doing it? Listen, this is her relationship, so who are we to judge, right? If she makes a mistake, that's her mistake to learn, so whatever. But next season, I would definitely be interested in seeing Bose plan her wedding, having a bachelorette party or a bridal shower, and then her 2 different weddings. And then even with Amanda, you know, Amanda and her husband, they already got married. They had a civil service, but she's still planning her rose petal helicopter wedding. So that would be interesting too. You know, that'll be interesting to have these dual weddings going on if she comes back. You know, I'm not sure that Jennifer Tilly would want to continue filming. So right now the cast is pretty big, but you know, I don't know about Amanda or Sutton. I really do feel like this might be Sutton's last season, but we shall see. Anyway, guys, what did you think of the season? What did you think of this last part of the 3-part reunion? And that's it, guys.